All right. Well, first of all, like you said, that NFC Championship game was an extremely boring game. Like my prediction going to that game, I really thought the momentum from the Vikings Saints game would have elevated into that championship game, considering that just one win away, you get to play in a Super Bowl in your home stadium, which haven't been done in decades. So I thought that would have been a great moment for them. But I mean, I do applaud the Philadelphia Eagles for their season, especially their playoff run, considering what they have at quarterback. Not taking anything away from Nick Foles, but he wasn't the starter, and if it was for Carson Wentz, he would have been on the bench. So the fact that he able to play pretty consistent the entire postseason, the defense is stepping up tremendously. I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl matchup, and then of course you have the AFC. You have the Patriots and you have Jacksonville, and that was a really good game. Like I told you guys before, I thought Jacksonville actually was going to win that game going to that matchup, but clearly I was wrong on that one. But it just shows how great of a competitor Tom Brady is. He's been there many times, and regardless of what the score is, you can't count the Patriots out. They could be down 3 touchdowns, they could be down 4 touchdowns. He'll find a way to bring the team back, and you have to play 60 minutes of football in order to beat him. And he clearly shows why he is one, if not the greatest player of all time.
The greatest player of all time.
Yeah, hard to argue that. So I guess for one thing that I'll say about the NFC Championship game, and I guess as you were saying, Jamal, about both teams is, both teams had a lot of things missing. So one piece of the Vikings that I think everyone forgets is their top pick, and Dalvin Cook was out damn near like to start the season. Not to also forget that, I mean, Case Keenum was essentially the third. I mean, I know Teddy Bridgewater, had been still
Teddy
out for a
gloves.
while, which I hate that he wears 2 gloves. But I mean, they're down to arguably their third string quarterback in Case Keenum, and that defense and just how they put it all together, and got to this point where they're a game away from being able to be the first team to play in their home stadium for the Super Bowl. I mean, you really gotta give it up for them in terms of how they were able to kind of persevere throughout the season and still be at this point. And they have a lot of questions that they're gonna have to answer coming into their off season. Do they want to bring any of those 3 quarterbacks back? I think they're all free agents, if I remember correctly. Maybe there's going to be some retooling on the defense. I know Antoine, is it Winfield? Whoever the old DB that they have is.
Winfield, yeah.
Is like 47. But...
No, not Antoine. Terrence Newman. Antoine Winfield was playing in the 90s, dude. What are you talking about?
I had Antoine in my head for some reason.
I think Kansas
Terrence
State's
Newman,
very
own. Yeah. That was a blast from the past. So, yeah, credit to the Vikings. The Eagles, again, as you were saying, Jamal, losing Carson Wentz. But I think, and this is definitely a whole nother topic for another podcast, but I think that says a lot about, the importance of schemes and just having a scheme that is, so QB friendly, where everything else takes care of itself and all you have to do is just kind of, see open guy, throw the ball to open guy. And obviously that's, a big reason that Doug Peterson is where he is right now. Also, some of the stuff I was hearing about, Doug Peterson was basically the guy who worked out Nick Foles. He was the reason that Nick Foles wound up in Philadelphia, to start his career. You see that confidence in him. Obviously, sometimes there's not that big of a gap between, backups and starters, and a lot of it is confidence. And I think you see with him the confidence that he's gained so far in the games that he's gotten to play is a big reason why the Eagles were there. But that defense certainly underestimated it, as I picked the Vikings to go into the Super Bowl. But they're legit, and they are going to need to play their best game that they've ever played next Sunday if they want to have a chance at even making it a contest. And again, in my opinion. And then I don't know what there is to say about the Patriots. I mean, to me, Bill Belichick is the greatest coach in all of sports. I can't wait. I just saw the trailer for
the two Bills.
The two Bills. They paid for 30.
I think it comes out the first or the second. I cannot wait. I
am going to be glued.
Don't sleep on Tom versus Time. Facebook Watch series is awesome.
I saw the first episode. I didn't see the second one yet.
Just dropped today.
But again, I mean, this is going to be an interesting time for the Pats, as it was just announced, or sort of announced, that McDaniels is definitely going to Indy, and you have Patricia, who will be the Lions' next coach. I know Flores was one of the candidates for the Cardinals before they just filled that spot, but he may be going with one of them to one of those jobs, and then
he may be elevated to DC
or that. And I mean, again, especially with the ESPN article that had come out, it'll be a really interesting offseason for the Patriots. But I think one thing that everyone, unless you still have a bit of hatred for the Patriots, I think one thing that'll definitely top it off is getting the 6th Super Bowl this Sunday, which I do think they'll do. I did think Jacksonville was going to win as well, but I was saying that I thought if they got through Jacksonville that the Super Bowl was as good as theirs. And even with Jacksonville, I think this is a team that's going to be around. Their division is going to be tough. With Deshaun Watson coming back healthy. Again, you got some new coaches coming into the AFC South, so it'll be an interesting time to see if they can repeat and get back, and we'll see what they do with Blake. I'm excited about the Super Bowl, and we'll get into those predictions after our senior Patriots correspondent gets his.
All right, so I have a lot to say. I'll try to condense it. The Vikings-Eagles game surprised me. I picked the Vikings to win that game. I didn't see a situation where the Eagles were going to hang over 30 points on the Vikings defense, and the Vikings couldn't get more than one score. They started the game off good with a score, and then Case Keenum threw a pick six, and the Eagles never looked back. Interesting storylines to watch, obviously. LeGarrette Blount, Chris Long playing against their former team that they got a ring with last year. I'm not even going to waste any more time on that game because it was a blowout. Wasn't even close. The Patriots-Jaguars game, all-time classic. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Every year, it's the same thing. I wait till the second week in January to watch my team play in the AFC Championship game. The second or third week, it's every year. And it sounds cocky, but it's true. And I don't know what else to do but to sit back and appreciate it. And imagine being from another fan base where your team is down 25, your team's down 14, and you have no hope for the rest of my life.
My team has been down 3, and I have no hope.
It's a gift and a curse. The rest of my life, I'm never going to believe the Patriots can lose. Ever. Because we came back down 25 in the Super Bowl. We come beat this Jaguars team that looks good. And, the one guy that everybody thought was going to blow the game for Jacksonville didn't. Blake Bortles played an amazing game. Protected the ball, did everything he could do to propel his team to a victory. But at the end of the day, like I said, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And when McDaniels leaves and Patricia leaves, the same thing's going to happen. There's going to be 2 more coordinators. They're going to get inserted there. Offensive coordinator is more important to us than defensive coordinator because Bill can do that himself. We're going to continue to be successful so long as Bill is the head coach, so long as Robert Kraft has air in his lungs and his heart beating in his chest, they're going to make sure that this team competes at a high level. And it really is, like, I literally can't imagine what it's like to be from another fan base. There's one fan base that can talk shit to the Patriots, and that's the Giants. And they almost can't do that anymore because it's been 10 fucking years. Like, what do you do? Imagine being Seth Wickersham, your masterpiece of an article, your Mona Lisa comes out, and nothing changes. We just take every team, we crumble them in a little ball, and we throw them in the trash. Jalen Ramsey. You can't spell Jalen without an L. That poor man was so confident, and I love watching him play.
I love him.
He is an excellent football player, and I love how much shit he talks. But if there's one team that you don't say anything about, it's the Patriots. Because before he was talking that shit, the narrative was always that the Jaguars had no chance. Because it's the Jaguars, and it's the Patriots. It's one of those things where it's never in my heart will I believe that the Jaguars are going to be the Patriots. They just can't. They're the Jaguars. And when you say something like that and you don't back it up, it makes it tough. And that game, like I said, all-time classic, incredible to watch. The momentum swings was amazing. I watched the game at a bar, ton of Patriots fans there, and we all knew. We all knew. None of us faltered. We knew we're going to get the ball. We're going to put up 7. We're going to make a stop. We're going to get the ball back. We're going to put up another 7. Game over. And that is exactly what happened. And let me tell you, Stephon Gilmore, this year has played like crap. He earned his entire salary
on that
with that 4th and 19 or 4th and 18 defense. That was picture perfect. He was floating in the air for 45 minutes before he swatted that ball down. It was amazing. And to the Jaguars, who say that they should have scored on that Miles Jack fumble recovery, listen, to me, he popped the ball out, but then Dion Lewis had the ball on his hip, and the ball was still, and he was on the ground. So depending on how you want to rule that,
yeah, I didn't think that was a fumble.
I could have seen it going both ways. I honestly, not even just being a Patriots fan, I just didn't think it was a fumble.
I'm not a Pats fan. I didn't think it was a fumble.
And, you know, he had it on his hip. I get it. The initial motion started, but the ball stopped moving. And so I don't want to hear he was going to get up and score a touchdown. Well, guess what? He didn't. And again, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Jamal, who do you got in the Super Bowl?
All right, wait. Before we get into Super Bowl predictions, so basically, you know, I know we had touched on this in the other times that we had tried to record, and, you know, so we haven't got a chance to really talk about it. I don't want to go too far into it, but I think a big thing for people who are not, you know, within Pats Nation is that the run that the Patriots had is obviously something that who knows if we ever get to see again just in football.
I'm speaking past tense for some reason, as if it's not currently happening.
And, you know, I think a big piece of that Seth Wickersham piece was, you know, obviously I think Patriots fans kind of took it and was very like, you know, you're trying to attack what we're doing, what's going on. Like, they hate us because they ain't us. But I think for me, the way I took it and was that I think, number one, it spoke to egos that certainly have to be there when you've just reached that level of success. But I think it spoke to, for me, just asking the question of, what does all of this look like soon? I'm not somebody that thinks that Tom Brady has all these years, that the Tom versus Time, you know, documentary is going to be in the TB12 therapy centers will lead you to believe. And so I want to know from a Pats fan, in what I think is maybe 2 years at best, how are you going to handle the transition of probably no Belichick, but definitely no Tom? Like, if I'm Belichick, I'm leaving with Tom. And so, let's say hypothetically in 2 years they go off in the sunset, probably their like 8th Super Bowl, because that's what just happens in the world, unfortunately. But what does that transition look like from going from just the best coach of all time, the best quarterback of all time, to like just new people? Like,
I'm going to have to speak to some 49ers fans about how they did it with Montana and Young, because the same thing's going to happen.
That is true.
The same thing's going to happen. And if it doesn't, I'm going to have to take lessons from you and Jamal on how to be a loser. Because I haven't had to do that. The losing seasons that I've experienced in my sports fandom are limited. They hurt.
They build character.
They build character.
I have a lot of character.
What you look forward to when the Celtics were garbage, the draft is coming.
Yep.
And you know what? I hope it doesn't come down to that. But I feel truly blessed. I really do wake up every morning. I have a Patriots flag in my room. I look at that flag, and I look to the sky. Say, thank you for making me a Pats fan. Thank you for allowing me to be born in New England. And thank you for letting that coincide with my youth. It is the most incredible feeling. Can you take 1 second and think about this? The city of Boston, since the year 2001, the city of Boston, the Red Sox, well, the Patriots won in 2001. The Patriots won again in 2003. They won again in 2004. The Red Sox won in 2004. The Red Sox won in 2007. The Patriots won again in 2014. They won again in 2016. The Red Sox won in 2013. The Celtics won in 2008, I believe. The Bruins won in 2010 or 11. And the Patriots have another chance to win again. How many parades? It's like every year you have to go to work and you have to request the Tuesday after the Super Bowl off, because there's a great chance that you might need to go to a parade. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I hope that's what happens. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Pats. I'm hoping that the transition is a smooth one. But, you know, I'd be oblivious to say that I don't realize that I have the best coach and the best football player of all time together on the same team right now. And it is never, ever going to be the same. And there will never be another combination like it. You're thinking about this. If the Patriots win this upcoming Sunday, that'll be 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Twice beating the Birds in the 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years. Twice. It's incredible. And it's something that, rather than like the rest of America does and hate on it, I can appreciate the fact that you recognize the greatness, and you know, you'll go to a parade and you'll enjoy it. Just watch it. After a while with LeBron, I hate the guy, but he's must-watch TV. Mm-hmm. And so are the Patriots. When the Patriots are playing, love them, hate them, you're going to watch them.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, as a sports fan, so again, I'm known for my my beautiful teams and how they have fared. But I'm a sports fan at the end of the day, you know, regardless of what my team is doing. And, you know, I do like to see success. And, you know, I think my biggest piece of, you know, sports is recognizing how important coaching is. And, you know, that's why, you know, I have a lot of respect, the utmost respect for Belichick. I've read, you know, the 2 books, Patriot Reign, and I'm skimming on the other. I think it's The Education of a Coach. And I have, you know, again, the utmost respect for Belichick. And it's my belief, not to take anything at all away from Brady, because I do think that the Patriots' success is a bit of both of them. But I think none of this is anywhere near close to happening without Belichick. And I have, you know, begun my pleas that when he's done coaching, you know, he can come out in the sun in Tampa and, you know, be our president of football operations.
Serious question. Should the Lombardi Trophy be renamed after him?
Oh, yeah. He is infinitely a better coach than Vince Lombardi is. I don't ever want to hear anyone ever try to tell me anything different. It's going to be an interesting time. And, I think for, being a fan of another team, obviously it's like, you can't wait for it to happen so that the other fishies can get some Super Bowls. But, you certainly don't want to see greatness, go away. All right. And so before we get out of here, big game this Sunday. Jamal, what's your take?
Yeah, as much as I want the Eagles to win just because I don't want Jaymes to be celebrating again this week, but I mean, I do think, in all honesty, the Patriots will win. I feel experience will come and help them. Like I said earlier, Brady is one, if not the greatest player to ever play the game of football. And, he has the track record to prove it. And, a lot of the players on the Eagles, it is their first time there. I know you do have a couple guys that was on the Patriots last year, who are now on Super Bowl, who are now on the Eagles this year, playing for the Super Bowl. But not just for experience going to come and help the Patriots. So, I think the Patriots will win. I would say maybe by maybe 10 points, I would say. 27-17, that's my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even won the game.
I think it's a funny Super Bowl because it's definitely a battle of two very obnoxious fan bases.
One that has a reason to.
And I would really be sad if, we couldn't hit every Eagles fan with jokes about how they don't have a ring. I agree. I think the Patriots will, again, beat the Eagles in a Super Bowl, as they did. I believe that was the two.
Baby.
Oh, that was 04. Yeah, because 03 was
Panthers.
the Panthers, and the first one was the Rams. So yeah, I think it'll be the Patriots. I'm gonna go kind of low scoring one. I do need to at some point put a little bit of respect on the Eagles defense. I'll go 20-14 Pats, and I'm hoping for a good game. Some dilly commercials. Can't wait for those. And yeah.
So boys, you know who I have in this game. I'm going Patriots. I'm going opposite of Ty, high scoring affair. I'm going Patriots 35, Eagles 31. I think the Eagles cover the spread, but I do think the Patriots prevail in another close Super Bowl. I think the game is going to be awesome. I think that the Patriots' up-tempo offense, when they get rolling, is going to be the difference in the game. Unless the Eagles remember what practice used to be like a few years ago with Chip Kelly, and I don't know if they understand what is going to hit them. So, Patriots 35, Eagles 31. Eagles cover the spread. Brady gets a ring for his right hand.
Oh, and before we go, I think this whole Tom versus time thing is the corniest thing ever. I mean, listen.
I would like to disagree.
I mean, get to the bag, definitely, but it seems so crazy that you spent your whole career being, just kind of like quiet and really like humble about things and always saying the right thing, and then now as Alex Guerrero is like beating the shit out of your leg with like a pool like noodle.
But these are things that he's been doing.
That now you're like, amazing.
The fact that you're sitting here trying to say that is out fucking outrageous, because we are getting our first intimate look at the life of Tom Brady and what prepares him and what makes him who he is. And it's must watch. It's 15 minutes every 4 days. You get to look into the life of the greatest. You can't ask for more than that. Call it what you want, but what I'll call it is effective.
I guess my biggest thing with Tom, and again, we all three of us talked about how he's the GOAT, and you can't take that away from him. And I mean, you have to give him so much credit because this was a 6th-round pick who
199 overall,
who got his chance.
He's going to have 1 ring for every quarterback drafted before him.
He got his chance. He made the most of it. And then I wasn't even really aware of this. Apparently, he got knocked out in the second half of, I don't know if it was I think it was the AFC Championship game. And Drew Bledsoe led the team to a win. And so it was a bit of a QB controversy for the Super Bowl.
That was in 2001.
Yeah. It was
I remember
a bit
that.
of a QB. Oh, I mean, I clearly didn't because I wasn't a Pats fan. But it was a bit of a QB controversy as to who was going to start because this was Drew Bledsoe's job.
Was that against the Steelers?
It was against the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
And he went with Brady, and obviously the rest is history. And so, again, you got to give him his credit for, I think I remember hearing he started off as like the 4th-string quarterback, worked his way up to the backup. And then again, that Jets game, Bledsoe gets knocked out, and, you know, bam. And so I'll always have so much respect for him as a competitor. I do really question, and I don't, you know, I think there's a bit of this that you have to be as a professional athlete, but I question, like, his, I don't want to say sincerity, but he seems like very, very made up. And I mean, I guess the good thing about this is that you get to peel back the layers of that and you know, see him for him. I wish sometimes that he showed us this in his career, would have given him a little bit more, you know, persona. But
so the last thing I'll say is that if I'm Tom Brady, I mail 1 ring to every guy that got drafted ahead of me as a quarterback. Chad Pennington gets a ring. T. Martin gets a ring. All of them. They all get rings. But
Carmazzi,
Gino Carmazzi, Rattay. So we would like to thank you guys for listening to our first episode, our first official episode of our podcast titled Mr. Irrelevant. This is James, Ty, and Jamal signing out. Peace.
See you next time. Peace.
Yeah, take care.